Good afternoon. I'd like to go ahead and call the Caddo Parish Commission regular meeting to order at this time. It is July 5th, 2018, 3:30. Mr. Hopkins, if we can have roll call.
Mr. Dominic.
Present.
Johnson. Jackson. Lynn. Bowman. Hawthorne.
Present.
Gage Watts. Middleton. Atkins. Chavez.
Here,
Smith,
sir.
Lewis Johnson.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
If we all can rise, I'll ask that Commissioner Stormy, Gage Watts lead us in the invocation, and Commissioner Chavez lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Let us pray. God, how we thank you, Lord, for another day that you have granted us with, Lord. We thank you, Father God, for your loving kindness, God, your grace and your mercy. God, we come unto you on this evening, God, saying thank you once again, Lord, for this meeting that we're about to have, God. And we ask, Father God, that you would be a part of it, Lord, and that you would continue to give us wisdom and strength, Father God, to carry our tasks. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. If all would face the flag and render the proper salute, repeat after me. I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Stormy, Gage Watts, and
Yes,
Commissioner Chavez. I appreciate y'all very much. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. I know it's a day after great Independence Day, and hopefully we can continue the spirit of independence on through today. We got some special presentations, and we'll move on to our agenda items. Mr. Hopkins, do you
Next,
have any?
move to agenda additions.
You have none?
No, sir.
Okay, I have none. And we'll move to citizens' comments. Do you have any, Todd?
No, sir, I do not.
Does Mr. Kraft want to speak, or where's he going to speak at? Did you fill out a card, or you, when you? Yeah, oh, you're on the,
Item 6.
okay, all right. Okay, so we're moving to visitors, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can I'd like to make a motion to have our admin report moved up at this time, if y'all don't, if I can get a second, okay? We have a special presentation, I think it needs to happen at this time, if, we can make the motions have been made
I
and
move that
seconded.
we allow,
Hang on, the motion's been made and seconded, so, if we can please all vote to allow the admin to go forward at this time.
is that a motion?
Yes. And that passes 11-0. I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Wilson, but I know that we have our senior parks naturalists here from our Caddo Parish Park and Recreation at Walter B. Jacobs Park, and has a presentation. Dr. Wilson?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and happy 4th of July belated on that. Certainly, we have an opportunity today. We have Mr. Rusty Scarborough here today, our Senior Natural Park Specialist. So he's going to do a slight presentation. And Mr. Rusty, would you come on and kind of give us a little background on our visitor today?
Thank you for having me today. Dr. Wilson asked me to come in and bring our bald eagle that we house at the Walter Jacobs Nature Park. Walter Jacobs Nature Park has been a raptor rehabilitation site for many, many years. This eagle came to us about 8 years ago as a juvenile bird that had left the nest. They leave the nest at 2 or 3 months of age. And she has a deformed wing, so she cannot fly. When she tried to leave the nest, she ended up on the ground. She came from a landowner down in Natchitoches. Since she couldn't fly, she was found by that landowner starving. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries brought her to the nature park for rehabilitation. It's a deformity. It's not a break or anything that can be rehabilitated. So once that decision was made, she was moved from a rehab status to an education bird. And that's about the time that I came on with Caddo Parish Parks and Recreation because I have extensive eagle handling background. So I'm going to get her out. She's about 12 years old now, and bald eagles can live approximately 50 years. Their native lifespan, 80% of birds of prey die before their first birthday, and 50% of those survivors die before their second birthday. So she would have been one of the statistics because she has a deformed wing. But as it is, she's one of our animal ambassadors that we use at the nature park. Just a little preface, she cannot fly, she cannot regain the fist. I do have her tethered. If she tries to fly, you're perfectly safe, she won't get to you. And I'll have to physically put her back on my fist if she tries to fly. And we do have a rather large drop cloth to contain any that she needs to make. This is a female bald eagle. In birds of prey, the females are 1/3 larger than the males. They do, however, look exactly alike in coloration and feathers.
Okay. Oh, wow. Beautiful. That's beautiful. How rare is that?
He didn't name them.
We don't, at the nature park, I don't name any of our animals. I don't want it to be perceived by the public or children that wild animals make good pets. They are only in captivity because they cannot be returned to the wild. And it's illegal to have birds of prey of any kind in your possession unless you're properly permitted by the Fish and Wildlife Service. And you can't even have a park. It's against the law to pick up a feather from an eagle or a hawk.
Well, they still should be able to name it. I mean, Smokey the bear, and I'm not going to ever have a bear as a pet.
Okay, Mr. Bowman, it is not Smokey the bear, it's Smokey Bear.
Oh. I'll let you do that.
What's her wingspan, Rusty?
If she could fully extend it, it would be about 6 feet.
Wow.
Go get a picture of me.
Bad children.
That was good.
All eagles are largely scavengers, so they eat a lot of decomposing and dead animals, but they're also fish eaters, so they catch fish out of our lakes and streams and rivers. So we feed rats and chicken and occasionally fish. Rusty, you guys want to take a picture? All
And
right.
occasionally what?
Rats. Come on, President. You're supposed to be brave for us.
Put your arm around me.
Wow.
Got it.
Jeez.
Mr. Jefferson?
I noticed she's on the left wing. She must be a Democrat.
The jokes keep coming today. Gotta go to the other side.
Let's just hope that she is.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more.
Poor bird won't stand a chance there.
2, 3.
Don't go to the
Got
left,
it.
so if she attack you, we know for sure.
This bird's gonna last.
If she gets loose, she's gonna go on that nest of your head right there.
That's a big bird.
Ty, he's got a golf clock on.
I asked Dr. Wilson to get Rusty up here today due to the fact that, yesterday was July 4th and it is the 5th, and the American eagle, bald eagle, is our national bird. And I've been wanting him to come up here for quite some time just for us commissioners to see at least one animal that they have. I don't know how many animals do we have out there?
We have 6 birds of prey. I'm not sure how many snakes. We have quite a few animals.
Commissioner Stormy Gage White said, "Don't worry about the snakes, okay?"
Not at all.
But anyway, I just
up here.
I just want you to know, I know that people are watching, so hopefully they'll understand that the Walter B. Jacobs Park is a naturalist park. It has hiking trails. It's a great place to go and visit, and anywhere you go in our parks, they're always free. Nothing's charged. The only thing that is charged is the if you rent an RV spot at the Earl Williamson Park. So I think I have one commissioner. Commissioner Bowman wants to ask a question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank you again for bringing. And also, there's an animal I think a lot of people don't know, and it's a wonderful reason where you can check out Walter B. Jacobs Park. They have a flying squirrel.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and some people don't believe me when I tell them I've been there and they have flying squirrels, but they really exist and they're there amongst a lot of great, unique creatures. So let's support our park.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring an animal each month.
I think it'd be a little difficult to bring that flying squirrel, huh?
They're a little bit less visual.
Oh.
They're a nocturnal animal, and they're really small. They're smaller than a hamster, so
Oh.
it wouldn't be a great visual
Okay.
where everybody can certainly see the eagle.
So Rusty, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Can he hear?
She sends a letter in email. You can quit while you're dead. You're dead on Democrats.
Don't push it on John.
Okay. Todd, I guess we can go ahead and go back into our regular session. Do we need a motion for that, or
Let's go back to our regular agenda, move back to visitors.
we need a motion? Okay, so we're going to go back to visitors, and our visitor today is the Honorable President Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson is here today, AKA Ken Kraft, to do a presentation. So, Mr. Kraft, how you doing today?
Thank you.
Appreciate you
President,
coming.
Commissioner Lynn for inviting me, and commissioners. This is a mini version, a little less than half of the full declaration. I love the punished work assigned in 8th grade for pulling a ribbon, and the nun made me memorize it in 1962. Best punished work ever. And let's just pretend we're in Philly 242 years ago yesterday, and let's pretend you guys are the representatives of the Second Continental Congress. And we have a message for King George III, and I'm going to do the first 3 paragraphs and the last paragraph. And when I say George III and go like this, everybody feel free to boo. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is the necessity which now constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain, George III, is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having a direct object, the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. And now we're going to fast forward to the last paragraph. We now, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, due in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved of all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. And that, as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do, and for the support of this declaration with a firm reliance upon the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. God bless the USA.
Ken, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for support of our community and all the things you do. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll go back to our regular session and moving into special resolutions.
A special resolution of recognition to Nick LeBron.
So moved.
Second.
He's not here. I'll give it to him.
Just go ahead and make it part of the minutes. And
Yeah, and then I may bring him back up here. I just haven't got in touch with him. All right, please vote. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Adopt regular session minutes from June 21st.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watt, seconded by Commissioner Lynn Cawthorn. Please vote. Passes 11-0. Next item.
Communities and committee reports now.
Okay, we're on communications and committee reports. Does anybody have anything? Okay, Commissioner Attorney Frazier.
I just
I
want
didn't mean to insult you that
to
bad.
note that
Mr. Sell's laughing at that one. Go ahead.
in response to a request on Monday from Commissioner Jackson, I've put at your stations a copy of the NGOs that have received their cooperative endeavor agreements and the ones who have not.
Is that it?
That's it.
Could I
Thank-
make a clarification question?
Sure.
So this is related to 2018, the people that were already approved for the 2018 budget, and they were just waiting to get all their documentation in order.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
Saturday, July the 14th, we'll be doing a running of the bulls, which is a awareness for spay and neuter, and then also adoption for the bull breeds at Caddo Parish Animal Services. The running of the bulls is a event that we have to bring awareness to the bully breeds and the fact that they are most commonly the most bullied. To offer a draw card, we'll be doing running of the bulls, which is where the roller derby women and teams from the Arklatex will dress up as bulls, and then everybody who chooses can dress up as matadors for a running and rolling through Columbia Park. There'll be one run roll at 9 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. There'll also be water misters and slip and slides. This event begins at 8 a.m. and finishes at 1 p.m. We will be giving away prizes of free spay and neuters for your pets to the best dressed matador and the best dressed bull. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Matthew Lynn. And Commissioner Gerald Bowman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that the Animal Services Committee meeting met 2 p.m. on the Monday, and we updated people about upgrades and great things that the directors are doing and meeting with the public. Our next meeting will be on July 16th, 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. And moving on to our next item.
President's report.
The only thing I wanted to say was I want to be sure again and welcome everybody, safe holidays. I did attend the Independence Day Festival, was able to be interviewed. Do know that that's part of our sponsorship. If you saw any of the news outlets, they were constantly talking about the Caddo Parish Commission and us being a sponsor and them thanking, us for their sponsorship. It appeared to be a wonderful turnout, and I think, was it Montgomery Gentry, if I'm saying that loud?
Montgomery Gentry.
Yeah, Gentry was the main event, and the fireworks turned out great. So appreciate KTBS, appreciate all the sponsors. I don't want to name them all because I'm going to leave somebody out, but we are a sponsor of that event. So Thank y'all for the support. Thank you to KTBS, and appreciate that. Commissioner Bowman?
You did it.
Okay. Next item.
Next, we move to public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases. Ordinance number 5783 of 2018 in regards to zoning case P1218, amending the zoning of property located at the end of Singleton Road, 1,025 feet south of Pine Hill Road, Caddo Parish, from RMHP Residential Manufactured Home Park District to R15 Single Family Residential District.
Declare the public hearing open with regards to ordinance number 5783. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of ordinance number 5783? Is there anybody here who wishes to speak against ordinance number 5783? At this time, I declare the public hearing on ordinance number 5783 closed. We'll move on to our next item. Mr. Clerk.
We have no public hearing on ordinances. We move to zoning ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5783 of 2018 in regards to zoning case P1218.
Move to adopt ordinance 5783 of 2018.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Linda B. Johnson, and that has been seconded by Commissioner John Atkins to adopt ordinance number 5783. I see no one on the board to speak.
If you will give us just a second, our machine just went down. It's coming back up. So if you had something to say on there.
We're going to ever get that machine.
Okay. Okay.
All right, we can please vote at this time. Hopefully.
There you go.
All right, we're good. All right. That passes 11-0. Next item.
There are no ordinances for final passage. Ordinances for introduction, we have none. We move to work session minutes.
Move to ratify work session.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Linda B. Johnson, seconded by Stormy Gage Watts to adopt the work session minutes of July 2nd. Please vote.
I can read.
Mr. Johnson, Linden. Mr. Bowman. Thank you.
I was distracted for a minute.
That passes 11-0. Next item.
Next, we move to resolutions. Resolution number 47, 2018, relocate polling place for precinct 2 from Lakeview United Methodist Church to Willow Point Baptist Church.
Move to englobo resolution number 47 and number 48.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts, seconded by Commissioner Bowman. I made him a clown there for a minute. I'm sorry. Resolution number 47 and 48. Stormy?
Yes. I just wanted to ask that when we've already talked to Lakeview about the moving to Willow Point. I wanted to make sure that we would get some signage in advance, maybe in October, to let them know it has been moved. So we don't just wait to the day of and just have the signs out front. Would you get that done for me?
Yes, ma'am, we will.
Thank you.
I think Ernie Robertson sends them a note. They're supposed to, isn't he? Or
They do,
Well, that
but I
happens
just want
too.
some
I
visual for
understand.
the actual voters.
I just want to make sure.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, I was gonna basically say that Ernie sends out a letter to all the people in that area. Plus, I want to make sure that we also have some signs
That's
from
what
Bill
doesn't
Berry
be
going
happening.
over to Job Corps. But some people gonna still go to Bill Berry just out of habit, and when they see that they can't go there on 48, when they can't vote there, then they're gonna be like, I don't know where to go. So I want them to have a sign there saying Job Corps is the new precinct.
Location.
Right.
And you will make that happen, Dr. Wilson? Thank you. Okay, please vote. And that passes. Going on to the next item.
We have no old business. We move to new business. Confirmation of changes to the Caddo Parish personnel policy.
So move.
I got a motion by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowman.
I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Okay, Commissioner Atkins.
I'd like to propose that we approve the entirety of the Caddo Classified Personnel Policies, Rules, and Regulations Handbook with the exception of Section 301 entitled Sick Leave, which I would like to return to the Personnel Policies Committee for additional discussion If I could get a second.
Second. Seconded by, so I have a substitute motion by Commissioner John Atkins, seconded by the chair. If you can please further discuss that with the commission body. I know you've spoken to some of the commissioners, but.
Thank you. And I apologize for bringing this at such a late date. I reviewed the document previously and then was taking a final look at it and just realized that there were some issues with the sick leave policy that were complicated, and I just want to make sure we all understand that we all understand the policy and that we all agree with the policy. So I contacted the president of the commission and the chair of the committee and asked if I may respectfully propose that we delay just the approval of just section 301 dealing with sick leave and send that back to the committee to make sure that we all understand it. So that's my motion, and I hope I can get some support for that suggestion.
And I would just simply say that I had a couple conversations with some of the employees and would like to get this ironed out a little bit more detailed too, if we could get that back to the committee. Hope everybody does support that portion going back to the committee. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what's the problem with it.
Well, again, it's complicated, but in a nutshell, it seems to me that, first of all, I'm assuming that the vast majority of our employees are always behaving and conducting themselves in the highest level of respect and dignity. But on occasion, you get a bad egg, and I want to make sure that that we have time to properly vet all of those employees before they actually roll into the sick leave program. Currently, they can enter the sick leave program only after 90 days, although it takes 6 months to actually get on board as a full-time employee. You're a
probation period.
Yeah, you have a 6-month probation period before you're inducted into full employment roles and benefits. It just seems at the very least that those timelines should put up. But admittedly, I may not understand all the issues, but I raised it with several other people on the commission who also had similar concerns. So for that reason, I suggest that we just carve that little piece out, put it on the side, and have the Policies and Personnel Committee take another look at it.
Okay. That even confused me even more because the new employee is they have 90 days in a probationary between the 0 and 90 days.
They have they have a 6 month probationary period.
So a 6-month probationary period. So you want a vetting process in a 6-month period.
I want to ensure, first of all, my only request is that we discuss it and make sure we all understand it.
Okay.
But you've asked me to explain my concerns.
Yeah.
My concerns are that we have a 6-month vetting period for all employees, but employees are allowed to enter into the sick pool after only 90 days or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically vesting them in the sick leave program without them being fully vetted as an employee. And at the very least, I think those two timelines should foot up with one another. So my concerns related to that and a few other things are why I think that we should take another look at this and make sure we all understand what we're voting on.
Okay. Yes, because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing a deal where it's new employees 90 days from date of hire to donate 8 hours. So after 90 days, they can donate 8 hours into this program, and at that time, that's what they got, 8 hours of sick leave, from my understanding.
That's not my understanding.
Ms. Bryan, can you explain if that's right, my interpretation, or is it wrong?
All right, let's first clarify what we're talking about. When we're talking about the accrued employees can start earning sick time first day they start working. They're under a 6-month probationary period to determine whether or not they remain employed. It has nothing to do with whether or not they accrue sick leave. They accrue sick leave that whole time while they're employed and can use that sick leave. So the 6 month is just whether or not in 6 months, if you're not doing your job well, we have the right to maybe say you will not be working for the parish. But that has nothing to do with whether or not you earn sick leave. Employees begin to earn sick leave as soon as they begin employment with the parish. What we're The change that we are asking for in this policy is related to the donated sick leave pool, where employees can donate time to a sick pool to then be able to use should you have a situation, a medical situation where you do not have time. In order to participate in the pool, you have to donate 8 hours. One of the policy currently says this is not a change, that an employee can donate the 8 hours within a new employee because they haven't been here. So to give them the opportunity to qualify and still you have to donate, they'll give them 90 days to donate. The main changes we're wanting to make in this particular change is we're trying to make the donated pool process more stringent. We don't want it to be for an intermittent situation where an employee can use an hour here, 2 hours there. It's supposed to be for a major medical situation where you're gonna be off work for a significant amount of time. And that's what we wanna put in, that's one of the changes we're saying, that you have to be off for a continuous amount of time as opposed to an hour here, 2 hours there. If you all would want to change the period, that would be something you would be recommending in addition to what we already have here. If you want to make additional recommendations to make this particular policy more stringent. But the change that we're asking for is to essentially eliminate the intermittent process, and to also say that you have to have 8 hours at the time you want to donate. There were employees who exhausted their time, did not have 8 hours, and wanted to basically use their time in the past. We wanted it to be clear that you cannot do that. When you go to donate, you have to have 8 hours. Whether you're a new employee, and a new employee would have 8 hours within that 90 days. So that's one change that we're asking for in here, and the main change is asking that it be continuous leave, more than 5 days. You have to be on FMLA for a certain amount of time. The main change we're saying is it cannot be intermittent leave for hour here, hour there. The 90 days, the time to donate is already in the phone.
So that's the change you want to send back to the committee? Or that's what's already there? That's what I'm asking. Is that already in this, or that's the change you want to go back to the committee?
May I?
Yeah, I was looking at you because
I think we can all see from the discussion here that there's some confusion as to exactly what this policy represents and how it works. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just asking that we delay approval of this portion of the policy until we all understand it a little bit better. Thank you, sir. That's all I have to say.
All right, no one else is on the board, so we'll vote on the substitute motion, which is to approve the personnel policy and procedure changes with the exceptions of section 3.01. Is that
301.
301.
301, okay.
Mine won't pop back up.
Okay, please vote.
No, I just want to say something.
Oh, you want to
Yeah, I want to make
press your button?
Yeah, I pressed it. Won't do that.
Okay, LB?
I want to make a amendment to the substitute, and I want to say that we postpone all of this until the committee looks at section 301, and then we do it all at one time.
Second.
All right, so your motion is to...
That's a friendly amendment.
That's a
The
friendly.
friendly is interpretive.
Yeah.
So hang on. So your amendment is to just delay the whole thing
Until
we can just look at 301.
Yeah.
Okay.
And vote the whole package at one time instead of
Piecemealing?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that motion has been made by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Mr. Atkins?
It's not my goal to open up the whole thing for discussion. I mean, I'm not trying to make this thing super complicated. There's one section that I had some concerns with. My resolution proposes that we go ahead and pass everything that everybody's comfortable with. A couple of us have some issues with one section. I don't see the advantage in opening the whole thing back up for discussion. So thank you, that's all I had to say.
All right, Commissioner Chavez?
Basically, it was just for clarification that what you're wanting is just to send this piece back to the committee. And
Right.
Okay. That's it. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, so I guess the substitute motion by Commissioner.
That wouldn't be proper. Let's not wait.
Commissioner Lyndon Johnson is to send.
Send 301 back to committee.
Back to the committee, and we won't vote on anything else.
And hold until 301 comes back from committee.
That's correct.
And approve as a whole document.
Okay, does everybody understand that? That's our first motion. Please vote.
In the spirit of collaboration.
Okay. Appreciate your cooperation.
That passes 7-2, and we'll move on to our next item.
Next, we have confirmation of appointment to Fire District 3 Board. We have 3 names: Linda Dotson, Kevin Dunn, and Susan Tuberville.
Make a motion for Susan Tuberville.
Second.
I was on the
I'm
board.
sorry, I didn't see your name.
All right, hang on. Commissioner Lewis Johnson is on the board. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes. Really, is it too late for me to come in on the last item as well?
If you're gonna make a motion, make the motion first, and then.
Mr. President?
On what item? The one we already voted on?
Yes.
We already voted on it.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Okay, well, I want to make a motion for Susan Tuberville.
Second.
For confirmation appointment.
That motion has been made by Commissioner Lewis Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Mike Middleton, to appoint Susan Tuberville to the Fire District Board. Mr. Johnson, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you. I think that all 3 candidates are obviously very qualified, and my intention is to speak with all 3 and let them know that I appreciate their interest in the position. However, it is Ms. Tuberville from whom I've received information on, and not from the others at this point. So she would be my selection based on that, and I'm sure that she and the others could do a good job. But I ask that the commission would please support me in appointing Susan Tuberville.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Chavez?
Thank you, Chair. I'm gonna support Lewis Johnson, Commissioner Johnson, and of course, you guys know that I'm especially gonna support the person that at least sent a resume. That's all, Chair.
Okay, you know, this is in Commissioner Lewis Johnson's district. I will be supporting his decision too. So let's please vote at this time.
The resume policy. The resume policy.
And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Next, we move to communiques and committee reports, second round.
Second round of communications committee reports. Ooh, I was just saying going once, going twice, gone, but here we got popped up. Commissioner Lewis Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I now speak?
Sure.
All right, thank you. I was completely, and I am still completely in support of the motion as it's been amended. But as I have looked at this process itself, and as the chairman of that committee, if I or when I have an opportunity to do it again, I think that we need to consider getting input from parish employees. After I've reviewed it, I realized that taking a look at it, it's pretty clear, and I think we have good policy in place. But if we're looking at changes and input, I think that we're remiss if we do not give an opportunity for those parish employees to get some input as relates to that. Whereas we did not do it this time. In the future, I think that it's would be something that we would consider, and that is something that I would recommend.
Well, just as president, I would say, I think that's a great idea. You're the chairman. If you can come up with some idea whether we notify them and kind of like a card they give us or something, or I don't know. So.
Right. Well, I'd have that conversation with the administration, but I just think that's the prudent way to do that. Thank you.
Commissioner Vice President Lynn Cawthorn?
Yes, I see Kevin in the back and Director Clark. I've spoken with Kevin about, there's a couple people called me about some raccoons in the inner city, and I had 2 questions. Whether or not is that a problem that we are notified about? And also,
can you come up?
They are.
Yeah, somebody, was that you who was telling me about
Yeah.
asking about them the other day? Yeah.
I got two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Whether or not were you guys alerted to this, because like I said, Kevin and I talked about another constituent, and whether or not we've got traps big enough. I understand these things are pretty, some of them are pretty tall. Do we have traps big enough to?
That can contain
Yeah.
a raccoon? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If they
Okay.
contact us and give us the information, we will address it. We set
Okay.
traps.
Okay. Huh?
They can trap a hog, they can trap a raccoon.
I'm just curious. I don't do trapping. I was just, some people felt like they were so tall, you know. Because I didn't think that a raccoon gets that big.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they do.
So,
they are
okay. All right. All right.
You got everything from him?
Yes. Yeah.
You done? Commissioner Chavez?
Thank you, Chair. I don't see Ken or Tim Ward out there, but
Who? Tim Weaver?
Tim Weaver or Ken Ward. I don't see either one.
sitting here.
Oh, they helped out with some stuff with Union Pacific for me, and I appreciate them for that. But don't worry about it. I'll email them and tell them kind of what happened with the citizen with that today. Dr. Wilson, thank you for helping with professional drive. We'll reconvene on that next week. And then I thought I saw Stephen Jean slip in here.
He did.
Stephen Jean, look, guys, this is great. In light of everything that's going on with the MPC, on Tuesday I had a citizen reach out to me with some issues. Went down to the 4th floor, and Stephen Jean was extremely helpful. So if that's an indication of the turning light of the MPC, Stephen Jean, thank you, and thank you for all your help. That's all, Chair.
Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
If anybody catches a raccoon, know that they're the friendliest of the badger family, and they are a member of the badger family, and they're really smart and commonly will not get caught in a trap. However, if you catch it in a trap, do not pick up the cage because they can reach through the cage and grab you. And they're
You learned that by experience?
Their claws. I had a pet raccoon.
They held you with their hands.
And their claws are really, really sharp. That's all. So let Animal Services handle it. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowman.
I almost lost my train of thought.
You know, when Matthew Lynn speaks,
I'm telling
you
you,
lose your train of
thought. Because I flashed back to the raccoon I saw the other night near the borough of Queens, and that thing was huge. Like I wouldn't even get close to it. It was like some like baby fox, and it went down the drainage hole like smooth with ease. And that's the badger family.
Yes,
it's more of the snake family. But I missed my thought again. I'm done now. Now I feel like an idiot.
Matthew, for now, Commissioner Bowman.
Yeah, let me go before him.
Motion is made that
he takes me there
Gerald
every
Bowman gets to
time.
speak before Matthew. Vice President Lynn Cawthorn.
Yes, is
Andre?
Mr. Wesley here? Hey, can you come up for just a second? Hey, I just wanted to ask you about the Safe Summers program. When does it kick off? And we're going to pretty much operate like we did last summer. And if someone's interested in the program, they need to call you direct. What we do to make that happen?
Kickoff. We already started.
Well, you know.
But if you have anyone that you know, any program, just get in contact with us. If someone we know that's from your area, we will tell them to contact you.
Okay.
And see if there's a program that you would like for us to look at.
Yeah,
but
okay.
for the most part, anyone that's doing anything positive in the community, we try to work with them. If we
Right,
can.
okay. I got an email yesterday, so I just wanted to clarify.
Send it to me, sir, and we'll get on it.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and no one else is on board, so we move to our next item.
Next citizen comments, late arrivals. I have no cards.
Okay.
Second.
Adjourn.
Now I remember it was about Stephen G. I was going to say, Stephen, you've always been efficient, even before we had a director. So that's why. I'm still on the mic and they're watching at home. Stephen Jean, the new MPC.